It's 5:45 p.m., which means it's time for 5:45 Live. It's BCTV's nightly news roundup. I'm tonight's host, Roland Boyden, and this is 5:45 Live. Tonight, we'll take a look at Memorial Day in Brattleboro, plus we'll find out who's telling you to get out and stay out, what a worm tower is, why piano playing is the new PowerPoint, when the cows are coming to town, where news analyst Joe Bushy is taking us this time, and a whole lot more. All that in 15 minutes, so while Christina Aguilera is singing the last line of the national anthem, stick around. All right, we'll start with our top news story today on our special Memorial Day edition. Our news correspondent Joe Bushy was on the Common this morning as people from as far as California gathered to listen to Brattleboro native and decorated U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Scott Hodgdon deliver his poignant message.
Left, right. Left, 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 right.
My name is Lieutenant Colonel Scott Hodgdon. I'm a native of Brattleboro, Vermont. I recently redeployed with 3rd Brigade Combat Team, 4th Infantry Division out of Fort Carson, Colorado. Currently home on leave with my family to celebrate Memorial Day weekend.
This small community has consistently produced generations of dedicated soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen. These courageous men and women have served in all of our nation's wars and campaigns. From the Green Mountain Boys to the Marine Corps sniper who's currently sitting in the mountains of Afghanistan, our families have answered the nation's calling with unwavering support. And many would argue that the military is overstretched, that we may not know the long-term effects of the last decade for many years to come. But is this really any different than where this nation has been many times before? I cannot even begin to describe the level of support my unit received from the middle schools, churches, and manufacturers from across the nation. It touched the hearts of every one of the 140 soldiers. Assigned to the four-door operating base where I was stationed in Boston. I received no less than a dozen care packages and over 75 letters, some from people I'd never even met. On numerous occasions, I was able to bring a smile to a discouraged face by passing out care package items and letters of support in the mess tent.
Scott, enjoy your brief time home, and from all of us at 5:45 Live to all the friends and family who have lost someone in the line of duty, you have one of the hardest jobs on this entire earth, so all of our thoughts are with you today. And before we delve in any further, let's take a moment to do the weather. With the schools off for today, our weather this time around comes from our tireless news team made up of one Joe Bushy. Let's see. Joseph.
Hey, Roland. We're down here at the new West River Marina where they're working diligently at finishing up the construction so that they can hopefully open soon by the end of the month. We're here with a weather report for today, and today's weather, for what's left of it, is partly cloudy with a slight chance of thunderstorms. Very warm, high pushing 90 degrees. Most of you probably already know that by now. Winds light and variable, chance of rain 30%. For tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 60. Almost sleeping weather, winds also light and variable. Tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sunshine, warm high of 84. Winds southeast at 5 to 10. Hopefully y'all had a nice Memorial Day weekend and are eager to get back to work. And for those of you whose trash and recycling was today, Monday, don't forget to put your stuff out tomorrow because they didn't pick it up today. All right, now, back to you at the studio, Roland. Have a good day.
Joe, thanks. All right, and tomorrow the Brattleboro Union High School TV department will be back with their green screen-tastic weather coverage. You can see the whole broadcast live at 9:15 tomorrow morning on BCTV Channel 10. And next, get out and stay out was the message from Fire Chief Mike Bocosi and Assistant Fire Chief Pete Lynch when they spoke with WTSA's Tim Johnson in our BCTV studio. Returning to a burning building, no matter how safe or under control it looks, can be disastrous.
Even though we understand its personal belongings and its whether it be sentimental value or otherwise, nothing is worth a human life. And you know, obviously, our task through our job is to save that human life, and for people to try to go back in just puts himself in danger needlessly.
It's interesting, Tim, to know that fire doubles in size every 30 seconds. and so a fire can travel quite quickly. In the case of the Brooks house, it traveled through a lot of void spaces and popped out unexpectedly in a number of different spots. And when we put ourselves in the position where we needed to evacuate ourselves from the building that night, the conditions in the building changed from day to night in a matter of 1 or 2 minutes. And so if it takes 5 minutes for an occupant to travel from the end of a building to get out to the street of the building, away from the building, in that 5-minute period, conditions can change drastically.
And if you're doing some Memorial Day grilling this weekend, their collective 60 years in the fire department has taught them a thing or two about how to manage your barbecue.
You want to make sure it's out before you're done. A couple pails of water and stirring it up with a metal rake would go a long way. And in terms of apartment buildings, commercial buildings in the town of Brattleboro, you have to be a minimum distance of 10 feet away from the building to do any sort of burning or cooking.
So to summarize, be smart, be safe, and just take care of it. All right, moving on. Let's see, it's Monday, which means we have a teaser of this Wednesday's issue of The Commons for you. And I believe I've got a clip of that as well.
Hi, I'm Jeff Potter. I'm the editor of The Commons, and this week we have a good issue in store for you. Our ace reporter, Olga Peters, is reporting on the effect of the recent decision by the Brattleboro Housing Authority to rebuild Hayes Court and in the process relocate all of its residents. You will see some of the reasons why and what residents are thinking in her story this week. Also coming up, we have a story about the smart grid coming to your electric meter and what that might mean for how you can conserve electricity and how you can control your power usage. That should be in store sooner rather than later. And we have, of course, more information about Vermont Yankee. And also in our Voices section, you can also find the remarks from Lieutenant Colonel Scott Hodgson from this week's Memorial Day ceremony in Brattleboro. We're pleased to be able to publish those.
All right, new issues of The Commons hit newsstands Wednesday in Brattleboro. Issues are free, but for Good Samaritans, you can purchase a subscription as well. More info at commons.org. And moving on, it's a big week for our calendar department. The now internationally known Strolling of the Heifers Parade is at the heart of our calendar excitement this week. The 10th anniversary parade begins this Saturday at 10 a.m. in Brattleboro when local farmers will march their proud bovines from Flat Street up Main Street to the Common. And I believe we've got not only a clip here. I'm about to get fancy on you. Let's see if I can do this. The parade is just the tip of the iceberg with the Slow Living Summit, Tour de Heifer Sandwich Competition, Giant Smoothie Film Festival, Book Sale, Farm Food Fiber Tour, and a whole lot more. We'll have plenty to talk about this week here on 545 Live. In the meantime, you can find out all you need to know at strollingoftheheifersalloneword.com. So, some good stuff. In addition, you can also tune in to BCTV's Strolling of the Heifers Open Studio when WTSA's Tim Johnson sat down with 7 of the event organizers to discuss all the festivities. That program next shows tomorrow on BCTV Channel 8 at 9:30 a.m. And of course, BCTV will be providing live coverage of the parade right here on Channel 8. And with everyone going cow crazy, it's easy to overlook all the other things happening this weekend. Our weekend calendar coverage starts Wednesday, as always, and our Slow Living Summit coverage will start then as well. In the meantime, First Wednesday lecture series continues. You got it, this Wednesday. At 7 p.m. at Brooks Memorial Library, the lecture is entitled Beethoven's Sketchbook, a lecture demonstration by pianist Michael Arnowitz. Arnowitz will be stroking the ivories during the lecture as he compares the original sketches with the final versions from the first and last movements of Beethoven's Tempest Piano Sonata, which makes it probably as good as lectures get around here. So be sure to check it out again, 7 p.m. at Brooks Memorial Library. And the Vermont Performance Lab begins their Progressive Performance Festival this Thursday. Audiences will gather at the Blue Moose Cafe on High Street at 6:15 p.m. to pick up tickets and hit refreshments before traveling by bus to 3 performance sites around town. For more info on this multi-night event, visit vermontperformancelab.com. And for more events, you can also check out the Brattleboro Area Chamber of Commerce website at brattleboro-chamber.org or head to ibrattleboro.com, where they do up a local calendar like no one else. And if we missed your event or you want more coverage than just, me reading off the back of my hand here, you can email me, Roland Boyden, at roland@brattleboro-tv.org, and boy, do I have a graphic to go along with that. Again, that's Roland, ROLAND, at brattleboro-tv.org. And next on my itinerary, we're going to do our daily BCTV schedule quick glance. You can find BCTV on the Comcast dial channels 8 and 10. At 10:50 p.m. on Channel 8, we have a 5-minute how-to video on creating a worm tower composting system from local producer Jessica Tanner, and that just so happens to be our featured video of the week. And what I want to do now is head to the BCTV website, brattleboro-tv.org, to check it out, and that's exactly what we're going to do here. Look at this. It's like we're on the internet, but on TV. brattleboro-tv.org is the place to head. And first, I'll just mention at the bottom, you can check the schedule updated right here. And then we post our featured video of the week in blog posts here. So we highlight a new video from the week's schedule every Monday. You can check it on the homepage here at brattleboro-tv.org to read the featured video of the week, blog post, and grab links to the program in question here. And that pretty much means that we should just roll another clip, I think. So let's take a look.
This was built by Reed Webster, and he used a recycled culvert. It's a lot bigger than what you see here. This is probably about a half or a third that's showing. And the part that you can't see has holes, a lot of holes drilled into the sides, about the size of your finger, and that's so that the worms can go in and out.
In the worm tower, we can place household food items, fruit, vegetables, eggshells. Apparently it's red wigglers that are the best kind of worms to use in a situation like this. They are the best at processing the household wet garbage.
And to finish up today's schedule, quick glance tonight at 7 p.m. We have a highlight reel from the Heart and Soul fundraiser May 7th at the River Garden, edited by our senior news correspondent Teresa Maggio and shot by our ever-present news communications all-star Joe Bushy. And on Channel 10 tonight, we have a rebroadcast of last week's featured video of the week, the legislative wrap-up edition of Montpelier Connection, wherein Windham County Reps Sarah Edwards, Molly Burke, Valerie Stewart, and Mike Mowicki break it down on the 2011 session. And as always, you can find our complete schedule for both channels updated to the minute, along with live streaming and video on demand for all local programming at brattleboro-tv.org. And also a reminder, I'll be doing a little more in-depth demonstration of how to take advantage of this powerful, dynamic tool when our alliteration theme continues on Website Wednesday. And that's a full lid, folks, but I just want to mention, before you turn it over to the People's Court, remember to tune us in Wednesday when we dive into the Slow Living Summit, find out more about the library's piano player-presenter, head back to the field where more breaking news with Joe and Daryl will be going on, and a whole lot more. So for 545 Live and BCTV, I'm Roland Boyden. Thanks for watching. Night, everybody.